Hello farmers and aspiring farmers, thank you for tuning into yet another informative edition of your program. This is Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness in support of Vision 2030. This is where we discuss everything agriculture. We look at various agricultural ventures and agricultural enterprises throughout the geographical locations of Zimbabwe. And today I am coming to you from Manicaland at Heavens Farm, where they are into commercial dairy production. We are going to be looking at the nitty-gritties that they employ and the tactics and strategies that are putting in place to ensure that their enterprise is a success. Stay tuned. At this point in time, I've taken the liberty of inviting Mr. Darlington Makore. He is the farm manager here at Heavens Farm in Manicaland Headlands. Mr. Makore, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. As we get into our discussion, you are the farm manager. Maybe a brief background of this enterprise. I understand that you do have various enterprises, but today we are looking at commercial dairy production. Can you talk to us in terms of a brief introduction, introducing this enterprise?
Actually, this dairy begins in 2019 with a head of about 60, which we bought from Mr. Ice. This is Red Den Farm. But actually, because we wanted a dual animal, which was producing milk at the same time producing meat as well. So, but actually, we are doing artificial insemination here.
Yes.
So we are crossbreeding our animals. As you can see, our head is actually some varieties of animals, but all of them, they were actually derived from the head of Red Den.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you so much for such a detailed presentation. You spoke of crossbreeding and artificial insemination within your head.
Yes.
Can you talk to us in terms of the breeds that you now have? I understand that you started with a breed from Red Den, but you also got into artificial insemination. Yes. Now, looking at your head, how many breeds do you have?
We got about three, if not four. We are having a Holstein. Actually, we wanted to increase our yield in terms of milk, and at the same time we got a Jersey. We wanted to increase in terms of butter fat for the milk quality of our milk to be at a better position for our marketing.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm sure that was the whole idea is actually to make sure that we produce a quality milk in terms of pricing.
Okay.
Yes.
And the other breeds?
Jersey, as I mentioned, Jersey, it's actually having an input in terms of a butter fat.
Okay.
Then Holstein, it increases our milk yields.
Okay.
As well, we are trying to actually having that animal which can resist in terms of diseases.
Okay.
Yes. So because you know, with our boundaries nowadays, there's a lot of diseases like JD which is being moving around across the board. Okay. So we are trying to make sure that we have that animal which has got some resistance, like Jersey. At the same time, Red Den as well. We are crossbreeding. All our calves actually are being mothered by Red Den.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Makore, I want us to look at the issue surrounding the categories. When we go to this farm, we could see that we had different cattle mumapadhuku akasiyana siyana. Mune dzanga dziri muno, dzimwe matozo dzichovha kubva somewhere. Koita dzimwe nanhasi matakamira kune dzimwe dziri kwakasiyana siyana. What could have inspired or motivated you having various categories or groups or paddocks or crows of these cattle?
Thank you for a good question. Actually, we're having the categories differed from the yield which they were producing. Some of our animals are actually newly in lactation and they got the higher yields. Okay. Which they are actually pushing per day up to 27 to 30 liters a day. And we got a group B which is producing something like a 15 up to 19 liters a day. Okay. Yeah, so we categorize them in terms of sections so that at least we won't actually interrupt in terms of feeding. Okay. They have to feed according to their produce.
Okay. Speaking of feed, yes. I understand that there is a direct relationship between the feed that you give or the nutrients that you give to your cattle and the output. Looking at a mature Jersey or the other breed that you spoke of, a day ingakupa ima liters mangani pasua?
Our Jerseys actually they are producing better. They are pushing up to 27, 25 per day. Okay. While our Red Den are the highest producers at the moment. They are producing up to 40 liters a day. Okay. Yes. Then we got some heifers, which are majority of these ones here. they are actually heifers, which are producing something like 15 up to 17 liters a day.
Okay.
Yes.
Finally, as we are closing this segment, I want us to look at issues surrounding probably how you generally milk your cattle. Times zamuno kama dzakamira. I understand that in dairy there are times when vanhu mapraza anotomukira na 4 a.m. kutokama, vamwe vanomirira magetsi, vamwe vanotoshandisa magenerators. When it comes to milking your cattle, zvakamira sei? Time dzenyu dzakamira sei?
We give a space of about 10 hours. Our morning session actually begins at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Meaning preparations and stuff like rinsing of machines will begin at 3:30.
Okay.
And 4 o'clock exactly on clock will be beginning our milking process. Then later on the day we begin exactly 2 o'clock again.
Okay.
We resume our milking process.
Thank you so much, Darlington, for such a detailed presentation. On that note, viewers, have come to the end of the first segment. We're going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the second segment. Stay tuned. Thank you, Zimbabwe, for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness, in support of Vision 2030. Today, I am coming to you from Manicaland. We are looking at commercial dairy production here at Haven Farm. Now, viewers, we encourage you to be a part of these conversations. Feel free to get in touch with the producer, Wadzanai Manyore, so 0772-807-506. Alternatively, you can like our Facebook page, Agribusiness with Wadzanai, make a follow-up on this episode and more, and leave your comments and suggestions. They are most welcome to us. Our YouTube channel is Agribusiness with Wadzanai. We are also now available on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Agribusiness 110. Stay tuned. Thank you so much, Mukoma Darlington, for staying with us in this second segment. Now I want us to look at your feeding regimen. Chikafu chamunopa mombe kuti dzibudise mukaka wakanaka, mukaka wakakora, mukaka unodiwa ne market. In terms of nutrients, nutrients akakosha ku dairy farming de api.
Actually, here we are on a zero grazing place.
Okay.
Our animals are always in some crows, but majorly, you can talk of protein. We need high protein in terms of dairy to function and produce more milk.
Okay.
So we're actually doing everything. We are preparing our feeds here.
Okay.
We got some premixes, which got very high nutrients on it. At the same time, we are using hay bales. Okay. Our hay bales, they are dry. Meaning we are trying to push more of butterfat out of our milk. Yes.
So I want us to look at issues around the dipping of your cattle. Pakudiba pakamira say the frequency. Tabva ipapo some of the diseases that may come across in terms of dairy farming.
Yeah. We got a threat in JD, but we are dipping our animals on a weekly routine.
Okay.
Every weekend we are dipping our animals, and sometimes if you are not dipping, we are using tea grease to make sure that our animals are well clean. When
you are dipping, which chemicals are you using?
Varieties of dips like Coopers. Actually, we change routine so that we are trying to eliminate resistance out of our ticks. Yes, so we are just actually is a chain of dips we are using across.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking at mastitis. Mastitis inombotanga zvaita sei? What is the cause of mastitis? And is there a cure or a way to curb mastitis? Or even kana isati yatanga pa head yenyu ndezvipi zvamunoita kuti isafe yakaitika mastitis iyoyo?
We got what we call environmental bacteria, which are being caused by, actually these are being found in the environment we are having. At the same time, there is a cleaning routine in our machines. If our machines are not well cleaned each and every time, anokonzera mastitis inge very serious. Environment yedu ine bacteria inayo futi iri very serious kana kuri kuti mombe dzedu adzisi kudipiwa matiti guard netted guard zvakanyatsonaka. Because actually remember we are actually not having some calves, so therefore maholes ematiti anenge akavhurika to accommodate some bacteria into our animals. Therefore we are using teat guard to shrink back some teeth so that at least we eliminate entrance passage of bacteria into our animals.
Okay.
So mustard is a big threat actually, because it comes in two varieties. We got the clinical and the subclinical. Clinical, which means it's that mustard is which we can see and we can actually identify when we are milking our animals.
Okay.
Then we got subclinical. Subclinical, this is a mustard which we cannot see with our clear eyes.
Okay.
That is now being picked up by the lab.
Oh, okay.
Then after they are picked by the lab, we make sure that we follow up with the curing measures
okay.
upon our mustard. Yes.
Now finally, as we close this segment, what are the characteristics of a good employee? Or zvamuno trainer tomboti dzimwe nguva auya asiri kuziva asi basa ari kurida. Zvamuno trainer munhu ari kuuya kuzoshanda mukurimwa kwenyaya dzemombe dzemukaka ndezvipi, uye zvamunotarisira kuti mombe dzenyu muone dzine utano dzisingarwari ndezvipi?
Dairy is a bit complicated in terms of my diseases. So our workers njekutanga chinofana ngechiri pa worker mumwe nomumwe hygiene.
Yes.
Hygiene inodikana pa mushande mumwe nemumwe. At the same time ma protocols emashandiro yedu anofana kutedzerwa each and every time. Saka discipline inodiwa pa mushande mumwe nemumwe.
Yes.
Each and every time and without compromising it. So vange zvakatodaro nekuti tikati isusu issue yekukama mombe munhu akasiya mombe ine mukaka matizi then tadore nemestatis.
Okay.
Therefore hapadodi munhu anenge ari rude asingagoni kutora instruction ezvairi. Saka tinotora by all means kumeka sure kuti mushandi mumwe nemumwe anotera protocol neorder yebasa zuva rimwe nerimwe, hapana chinofanira kuchinja, and the same combat yekunge akapfeka ipabasa inofanira kutedzerwa, especially tine magloves atoshandisa kana tichinge tiri kamombe dzedu kuti tizame kuprotecta ivo vashandi pachezvavo, manails musapinda madiseases. At the same time iye munhu pachezvo kana achinge aine tsvina tinge chinokompromise mukaka wedu kuti unge waanotanga ageza. Tine mashowers atinawo vasati atanga kuenda kubasa, they must actually go through mashowers edu. Saka mushandi anofanira kunge akachena akashambidzika each and every time and anotora maorders accordingly. Hapana mushandi anofanira kunge ari rude kune mumwe. Atina isusu tine masupervisors of course, but I mean to say each and every person is a supervisor to another man.
Yes.
Pa farm pedu, so that at least arajamba protocol anokoritwa nemumwe apo wajamba, so that tisambita mistake kuti tinge tichicompromise mukaka wedu.
Yes, thank you so much. Mukupendera tichivhara chirongwa chino, mashoko enyu ekurudziro kuvarimi vechitema kunyanya. Ndoziva kuti nyaya dzecommercial dairy farming wakanyozara ndevechichena varungu ndo vakadzara mazvi, asi imi muri pano muri vanhu vatema mari kuproducer mukaka. Mashoko enyu ekurudziro kune varimi vechitema, kune vamwe vakatarisa vari ku-UK vari kutozviyeva zvachona pa-YouTube kuti ndoda kutoitawo kuita zvedairy. Mashoko enyu ekurudziro amukataura kuna ari kuda kutanga.
Ndokurudzira kuti varimi vedu vechitema vave vanhu vane mwoyo murefu and vanoda kudzidza, vokura mukudzidza. Noti kuva nemombe dzakawanda it doesn't mean kuti wagona kumanager, but unogona kuva nehead yako iri diki but ichiproducer quality, then you are having money. So ndinokurudzira kuti munhu wese anoda kutanga dairy inonakidza kunge uchiita kuchengeta mombe kwakanaka kunonakidza, but ngative nemaforo akakwana nekuti zvirwere zvinji zvatinotreta pamombe dzedu mostly nyaya nutrition.
Okay.
Saka nutrition ikanga iri compromised tinoramba tichingotreta madiseases, and at the same time ngavatore maadvice from vets iringe iri padhuze ichivabatsira in terms of tingati anything chiri technical chiri paground, vatore maadvice from our government vets zvinovabatsira zvakanyanyisa and zvinoita kuti basa ravo risanyanya kuvaomera, because there are so many things zviri so technical paground zvinoitika zvekuti kana usiri an expert on that area unokwanisa kuzvicompromise uchiti hazvina basa but zvino make a very big difference kana uchiwa kumari dzako zvinocompromise mari.
Thank you so much Mukoma Darlington nekutora nguva yenyu. I understand muri very busy, mune masections akawanda amuri kumanager, asi matora mukana wenyu kuti mutidzidzise maererano nekuchengetwa kwemombe dzemukaka. Thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you.
On that note, viewers, we've come to the end of the second segment. We're going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the third and final segment. Stay tuned. Welcome back, viewers. We are here in the third and final segment of your program, coming to you from Manica Land at Haven Farm. Now, viewers, you would find that when it comes to commercial dairy production, there are certain diseases and certain things that you need to look at and invest in to ensure that you are running a successful enterprise. We are here in the third and final segment of your program. Welcome back. At this point in time, I would like to introduce you to Ms. Chingwe. She is the policy officer at Zimbabwe Association of Dairy Farmers. Ms. Chingwe, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Wadza.
As we get into our discussion, let us just talk a bit about issues surrounding membership. We do have an audience in the diaspora, or even some that are aspiring to be dairy farmers, but they do not know how to go about it, or even to be a part of your association. How is it done?
Actually, our association is a member-driven organization. It is based on membership. We have different classes of membership, which starts from small-scale dairy farmers who are producing less than 50 liters per day. Also, basically, we can say those who are producing between 0 to 200 milliliters per day of milk. Then we also have the medium scale category. We are producing between 200 liters to 500 liters of milk per day. Then we have our large scale that are producing more than 500 liters per day. So these are all the categories. And to become a member of, you just need to be a dairy farmer.
Okay.
Yes, that's fine. So our membership fees and subscriptions, they come through levies.
Okay, thank you so much for that. As an economy, as we talk about becoming an upper middle class economy by year 2030, we are looking at issues surrounding poverty alleviation, eradication of hunger, and we cannot ignore the importance of milk production as a country. Can you talk to us in terms of how you are enhancing production and even productivity to our Zimbabwean local farmers in terms of milk production?
Thank you, Wadza. Just on a positive note, I would like you to understand that we have had a milk increase from last year, but one to last year. We're actually now producing 99.8 million liters of milk, up from 94 million liters of milk the previous year, which is a positive move. We are not there yet because we need an annual demand. We have an annual demand of 130 million liters per year. We are getting there. The substitute is actually the gap is being filled by importation of milk powders.
Okay.
So what we want to do first is to make sure that we cover that gap with production in milk. We work with various partners, be it private sector, which include processors. We also work closely with government and development partners. Currently, we are working on a breeding. We have just launched a breeding strategy that is aimed at improving the genetics of animals that we had, which are resistant to diseases, high yielding, and this is ongoing, and we have food officers out there. We also have a semen scheme that we are selling subsidized semen to farmers so that they can access that subsidized semen and improve their genetics.
Okay. Munyaya dzekurimwa kwemombe dzemukaka umu, vanhu vatema muri kuvaonawo sei? Vari kuwedzera here, vashoma here kukunda varungu? Ivo varungu vacho vari kubatikirawo here panyaya idzi? Kana kuti ingori association yamuringobatana zvenyu nevanhu vatema pachezvenyu? Zvakamira sei muassociation?
Muassociation medu umu mune all kinds of people. We have a significant membership of white commercial farmers, including also middle scale farmers. We also have black farmers that are large, very large indeed, and also medium. We also have a number of small scale farmers. We have a mixed bag of farmers, and the greatest thing is through the work that we do, we enable collaboration and working together of these two classes of farmers, the black and the white. Through sharing of knowledge, exchange of knowledge, we invite each other. If it's a black person's field day, white people also come. If there is a field day at a white farmer, there is something to learn there. The black also farmers, they also attend there. So it's actually a mixed bag, and we are happy that we have quite a number of black farmers that are joining the industry, which were usually used to be dominated by white commercial farmers.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chingwe, for taking your time to drive all the way from Harare to come with us here in Manica Land in Headlands at Havens Farm. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you so much, Wadza.
Thank you, Zimbabwe, for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness, in support of Vision 2030, where we are talking of poverty alleviation and eradication of hunger. You would also find that on the SDG and United Agenda Vision 2030, there is an aspect which speaks to women empowerment, which is the case today. We are here in March, where we are talking of women participation, especially in issues surrounding agriculture. We have a huge population, a huge chunk of our population that makes a living off of agricultural ventures within our geographical locations of Zimbabwe. At this point in time, I have taken the liberty of inviting Mrs. Kamsasa and Mr. Kamsasa here, who are running various cropping enterprises, even livestock, looking at commercial dairy production. At this point in time, I'm going to have a dialogue with Mrs. Kamsasa, talking to us, even our audience there at home, especially women in partaking in agricultural enterprises. My Kamsasa, thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Zanai, how are you?
Yes. As we get into our discussion, what could have inspired you or motivated you to come and stay at this farm, Havens Farm, where you are undertaking commercial dairy production as a business?
Zanai, agriculture is about passion.
Yes.
I love farming. Right from day one, I've loved farming. So when we got to this place, tobacco is our main enterprise.
Yes.
But you'll find that the active person in tobacco production is Mr. Kamsasa. So I felt like I was being left out. And you know, you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yes.
So I brought the proposal of a dairy project, whereby that one will cushion the cash flow on the farm. And so far, the dairy enterprise has proven itself as we are supplying pro-dairy, and we are happy even with the cash flows.
Okay, and look into the future, Ms. Kamsasa. What do you seek to achieve? What do you seek to attain 5 years from now? What are you looking to achieve in commercial dairy production?
My intention is to inspire more women to get into dairy production, especially the rural women. Because then if we produce heifers, we can then have a program where we can sell them to them, and then we'll have more production of milk in our area, maybe even get into value addition from the Manicaland province.
Coming to you, Mr. Kamsasa, I can tell that you are a supporting act, supporting Mrs. Kamsasa, your wife here, when she is undertaking commercial dairy production. In terms of empowering women, there is a general saying that says that when you empower a woman, you've empowered the entire society, the community, the entire economy. In terms of women empowerment, kune varume vakagara uko vanofila at times kuti akapa mukadzi wake masimba pamwe anenge ari kutokundikana. Can you talk to us in terms of the importance of women empowerment from a husband perspective?
Thank you so much, Wazanai. It's true that no one can do it alone. And putting my wife in charge of the dairy, because I had seen that she has the passion for dairy. She understands it from the theory when we were at college. Now this is the practicality of it, and it's proving. You can see the condition of the cows, the production that we are having, the increase in our numbers on production, on even on the head itself. It's a proof that it's good to also empower women.
Okay, finally tiri muna March as we close this episode. Ingoti ide kune vamwe vakatarisa. We are speaking of women empowerment, even from sustainable development goals. Pari kutaura ipo kuti madzimai ngaasimudzirwe. Your parting words kune varume vakagara nemadzimai avo, even some fathers who do have daughters, they have children in the form of daughters. Talk to us in terms of empowering, equipping the girl child when it comes to agricultural enterprises.
Vakuru vanotaura vachiti musha mukadzi. It's a very true saying. For us as men alone, if we were to live as men alone, I don't think there would be much that will come out of it.
Yes.
So empowering the woman and the girl child, it's worth it as a nation at large.
Thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Kamsasa, for affording us an opportunity to come and visit your commercial dairy production. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam.
From me, your host, Zanai Manyore. I'm also on Instagram, it's W Manyore, and the crew behind the scenes. Have yourselves a fabulous evening. Thank you for watching.